You are welcome to Consulting Room 5 with me, your host, Dr. Sue. Today we are going to talk about a very sensitive topic, but we have a renowned lawyer and a mommy police. We have ACP lawyer Owusu Achireme, who is the director of Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit, DOVSU. And joining us, we also have Chief Inspector Georgina Owusu-Bediako, who is a clinical psychologist, passionate about helping people understand themselves and build healthier relationships. Beyond her work, she loves making psychology practical and easy to apply in everyday life, believing that small insights can spark big changes. So, Chief Inspector, all correct, madam?
Thank you for having me on the show. It's very nice, and
can you hear us? Okay.
Yes.
So, Chief Inspector, all correct?
Yes, madam.
Anyway,
madam, permit me to carry on.
Show is brought to you by Unicom. Do you have a sore throat or dry cough? Don't let it slow you down. Reach for Lozati lozenges. Lozati brings fast, soothing relief with sweet and delicious flavors like ginger, honey and lemon, peppermint, orange, and the bold new cola. Are you watching your sugar? We've got you covered with sugar-free strawberry and sugar-free propolis, perfect for people managing their sugar levels, whether you are talking all day, working outside, or need comfort on the go. Lozati is your reliable companion. It's available in all pharmacies and shops nationwide. Lozati lozenges is relief that works, flavors you will love, and options that care. Mommy police. Lawyer Papa. So today, I'm privileged to have two big police women who are going to discuss issues about domestic violence. One is looking at it from the psychological, emotional perspective, and then the other is the director of DOVSU. So she'll tell us everything about domestic violence, where to get help, the legalities, what the law says, and what to do when you feel that you have been abused. So are we not lucky to have you, the two of you?
I'm privileged to be here as well.
Beautiful ladies. Chief Inspector, so and both of you are also, right?
Yes, I just noticed. yes.
Okay,
good.
so I'll start with ACP. So lawyer, people always feel abuse in silence. Sometimes they don't even notice that they are being abusive or they are being victimized, right? So what do we do if we feel that we are victimized? And I mean, what is it about domestic violence?
Okay, so thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be here. We take this very important because it's an opportunity to educate the public, as you rightly put it. Some people might be going through certain things that they have no idea it's an abuse. So with this platform, we get the opportunity to educate people on what domestic violence is all about. So let me kick off by talking about what domestic violence is.
Okay.
In Ghana, Act 732, the Domestic Violence Act 2007, Act 732, prohibits domestic violence. So in that act, it talks about the definition and the different forms and who are in a domestic relationship. So let me just kick off by just in a simplified form say that when we talk about domestic violence, we are talking about either a single act or series of acts that could lead to certain harm to the individual, harm that a kind of harm under the Criminal Offences Act 1960 at 29, that under that act we could classify as harm, okay, or under the Domestic Violence Act that could lead to physical abuse, emotional abuse, economic abuse, psychological abuse, economic abuse, yeah, and then sexual abuse, and so on and so forth. Okay. And so domestic violence is simply any act or series of acts that could lead to harm that could lead to physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, verbal abuse, harassment, or any conduct that puts the security of the individual in danger, or that makes a person feel humiliated or takes away the dignity of the individual. So it's packed.
It is
packed.
Then it looks like then everybody might be going through.
Yes, indeed. Almost everybody, depending on the kind of abuse that you suffer. So maybe we can break it down. When we look at the forms are the physical abuse, sexual abuse, economic abuse, emotional, verbal, psychological, harassment, and then the conduct that takes away the dignity of the individual. So when we talk about physical abuse, then we have the rape and then the defilement, which falls under the Criminal Offences Act at 1960 at 29. So all the offences under the Domestic Violence Act are misdemeanors. So the highest punishment is 2 years sentence if found guilty, or a fine of 500 penalty. That's the highest, a fine, which the highest is 500 penalty units, or both. So you could be fined and also sentenced. Where the offense
That's if you are found guilty.
That's if you are found guilty by a court of competent jurisdiction.
Okay.
Where the offense is an aggravated one, that means it's very serious, beyond what the law describes as misdemeanor, then we'll charge you under at 29. Then where the punishment is enhanced. So if you come and you've been raped, we will not charge you under sexual abuse under the Domestic Violence Act, but we will charge you under rape at 29. And that one, the punishment if found guilty by court is 25 years. And the minimum is 7 years for rape and defilement. The minimum for rape is 5 years. The maximum for rape is 25 years found guilty. And then for defilement, the minimum sentence will be 7 years, the maximum is 25 years. So we can go into physical abuse. So physical abuse is not just we are not talking about assault under the Domestic Violence Act. When we talk about physical abuse, we are talking about situations where you don't give somebody enough food to eat. You don't give somebody enough rest. You also prevent somebody from moving around, like you confine somebody into a space. You don't give an individual enough clothing to wear. And this kind of abuse normally are suffered by people who stay with house helps, domestic helpers. They normally will suffer such abuses. And then stepchildren as well, or maybe distant relatives who live with some relatives and they maltreat them. Then when we talk about the sexual abuse, it has to do with any form of sexual activity that takes away the dignity of the individual. You know, in modern Ghana, people have different ways of expressing their sexual fantasies, and some of these sexual fantasies is dehumanizing to the other person. So there are instances where somebody will say, oh, maybe for me to be turned on, if you are my girlfriend, I have to tie a rope around your neck like a dog for you to be walking on all fours, and then I'll be whipping you, and that pain comes with the excitement of the individual. Such an act could amount to a form of sexual abuse. Okay. And then also, if you have any form of STI and you don't open up to your partner, you are aware, of course, and then you don't inform your partner about it, and you have sex with that person, the person is infected. It's also a form of sexual abuse, including HIV, and then emotional abuse. So
with the sexual abuse,
yes,
are they not in consent? Like
so,
what you said.
Yes, so it's one thing the individual saying, I want to have sex with you, and you saying yes. That's different. Beyond that, you must say that I also have this disease. For the person to say, okay, you are HIV positive,
but I still would want
to have sex with you. That one, if the person is infected, is a person's own issue. Yeah. So in that situation, you need to consent. Okay. The first consent, so that you are not charged with rape, is to say, I want to have sex with you. Do you agree? And the lady says, yes, I agree. And the man, of course, under Ghana law, a man cannot be raped. And so it has to be a woman. Yes. I know the men are always coming after us. That's why. But that's the law.
Some women rape men.
Well, the law says, to be convicted of rape is a legal, it's legal. It's a legal procedure. Okay. So if we want under law for somebody to be, a woman to be charged with rape and for it to be successful, then we have to amend our law. So that
some women deliberately seduce men and then they go in, or some women just throw themselves on the men. How about that?
So the best you can do is to report indecent assault.
Okay.
But you can never succeed under Ghana law to say we won't even charge. Yes, we won't even charge because what a law are we using? So yeah,
it's baseless, kind of.
I won't classify it as baseless, but it's not in law. Okay. Under Ghana law, you can't be raped. And for something to be an offense, it has to be defined and a punishment attached to it before you can classify it as an offense. And once there is no offense under Ghana law that says that a man can be raped, if you come and we listen to your story, depending on the facts, the worst we can do is to say, okay, let's go under indecent assault. But rape, no. So that's the other side. Okay. So for emotional abuse, it's a minefield. Okay. Because for emotional abuse, psychological abuse is deep. It's not something you see on the face. Yeah. And the only time probably you would really see is when the person has developed some mental health issues. And so the person will be walking around talking with you normal. If you are a professional, you would detect that something is just not right.
So let me go to Chief Inspector, who is an expert in the psychological aspect of domestic violence. So Chief, yes. How would somebody be classified as going through a psychological abuse or emotional abuse?
Okay, for emotional abuse, you'd usually find that the person is sad. Usually the close relatives of the person can identify it, and especially close friends or close relatives, because you begin to notice that the person's mood is changing. They are either more sad often or they are withdrawing. Okay, so you find isolation very often. And the person talks about maybe dying, the person talks about this life is not even worth living. They make statements that seem as if everything happening around them is not that important. Okay. And then when you talk about their self-esteem or their self-worth, they seem to withdraw from that and they don't want to hear anything about that. So they don't want to hear, okay, you can do more, you can do this. When you ask them about their goals, they don't want to talk about their goals anymore. So you find the person was very vibrant and all of a sudden it's gone. If it's a child that you gave to somebody else to take care of, you find that the child becomes very moody. And the mood is always flat. Yes, always flat. And sometimes when they go to work, they'll pretend as if everything is fine. But the close relatives of the person, or close friends of the person, can notice a change in moods and the way they speak. Their speech is mostly hopelessness. Okay. And when they see something on TV, they can pass a comment like, and this one, you can't even come out of it. Okay. Yes.
So when people they see around TV, are the ones that would detect whether the person is going through emotional abuse?
Yes. And some of the things you must look out for is their mood, their comments. Okay. And the frequency of eating. They complain about eating, sleeping. They basically act as though they are helpless.
Oh, okay. Yes. We'll come back, Chief.
Yeah. So we need to also look at the law when it comes to emotional abuse. Okay. So the law states what emotional abuse is, which is for the person to be constantly unhappy, jittery, afraid. So if you find yourself in an environment where you yourself, because first and foremost, one of the ways to seek help is for you yourself acknowledge the state in which you are, that I am in a state where it's abusive. Because if you don't know, it will be difficult for others to even notice and help you. Because it is when you know that you will make it a conversation, you will engage conversation, you will talk about it and say, oh, as she said, where can I even seek help? How do I even get out of it? It's when you know that you are in an abusive relationship. So if you are in an environment where you are constantly unhappy, and it could be, if it's your spouse, the sight of your spouse kind of makes you feel jittery. That anytime your spouse leaves the house, you are happy, you are relaxed. Immediately, it's around 5 o'clock when you know the person's on his or her way, it becomes a challenge, your mood changes and all that. So these are some of the emotional abuse that you go through. Right. And then it helps you to know and understand that, no, I am not in a good space. Okay. If I'm closer to the person, you feel tensed, but the person leaves the place, you feel happy, you are excited. Something is telling you that you are in a space. And it's because probably that the person is insulting you, belittling you, hitting you. So when it comes to emotional abuse, a lot of things come into play. It could be as a result of beating, it could have as a result of verbal abuse, it could be as a result of, psychological. So all these things. So sometimes it's when you find emotional abuse, the possibility that you find psychological and verbal is very high. Yes, very high.
So how about you mentioned economic?
Yes, the economic abuse has to do with any financial assistance that an individual is entitled to by law. If you prevent the person from having access to that fund, financial assistance, it amounts to economic abuse. So if it's your responsibility to take care, for instance, of your wife, your spouse, let me put it that way, or it's your responsibility to take care of your children, and you deny or you refuse to do that, it could come under economic abuse. Also, when you prevent your spouse from working, it can come under economic abuse. There are instances where people don't want their spouses to work as a result of jealousy or whatever reason. And immediately, it's one of the signs. If you have a partner and the partner is stopping you from working, it's a strong indication that the person wants you to be dependent on him or her. One of the traces of an abuser is to make you powerless, is to make you dependent. And once you are dependent on him or her, then you have nowhere to go. He teaches you or he tells you when to sleep, when to get up and all that. So taking away economic power from you is a strong indication. It's different. There are instances where maybe young family, they will say, oh, because of the kids, we can't get a house help, so maybe stay home, raise the kids up to a point, and then you can go back to work. When after raising the kids to a point where you can start work and the person is preventing you, is a red alert. And then also, when somebody has a property, and it doesn't matter who owns it, because the law says that even if you threaten, the threat of you saying, I won't allow you to use the property, whether it's movable or immovable property, it's an offense. So for instance, if you're at home and your husband has bought a TV or a refrigerator, your wife bought it, and then there's a misunderstanding and then says, I will not allow you to use the refrigerator, takes all your food.
I bought it.
Because I bought it, and takes all the food out of it, it's economic abuse. He buys a deep freezer for you to sell ice water, and then the day he says, why did you talk to this man? Because customer service, you need to be nice to people and all that. And it doesn't matter whether male, female, or child, you need to sell your wares. And then your partner comes and say, oh, I saw you smiling with this opposite sex. Exactly. So why? And then the person goes to unplug the freezer. It's all economic abuse. So this is some of the, and then we have the harassment. The harassment comes in different forms. Sometimes trying to touch your body, sometimes sending you an unwanted pictures.
But I think the harassment goes in both sides. For that one.
Oh, yes. In fact, all the offenses under the domestic violence is gender neutral. Okay. So it doesn't target any particular gender, sex. It doesn't. It can be a male or a female. Right. And if you look at the definition, there's nowhere they stated that a woman or a girl.
Why is it mostly women who are victimized?
If you trace history, who has been in the public space, which sex has been wielding power since, you know, modernization, even before modernization? It's been men. And you know, when we talk about domestic violence, gender-based violence, it's about power and the use or misuse of it. People who have power tend to misuse it, and when they misuse it, it's those who don't have power that suffer. Because if you are dealing with somebody who equally has a power, you want to check yourself.
Yeah.
If you are dealing with somebody who has no power, it's so easy to work on the person. So that's why over time you realize that the women are more vulnerable, women and girls are more vulnerable.
So before, let me just cut you. You were talking about sexual harassment.
Yes.
And looking at most women send nude pictures, send pictures that unconsented to the opposite sex, to men. Do they have, are there acts or laws that can work on or back those kind of acts of the women sending nude pictures and all that? So
we have different law. We have the cyber security act, cyber crimes act. We also have publication of obscene material. So there are laws that, for want of a better word, bars or prohibits such acts. But you see, if it's a consenting act, for instance, a female sends a nude picture, and normally these acts are done when people are in happy times. They forget that tomorrow there can be misunderstanding, and so they do the essence. Sometimes too, it's not the lady's intention to send it, but sometimes they are blackmailed, or sometimes too they do video calls and they say, oh, can we do video calls? And then you do video calls and then be recording and taking pictures, and it's then later on used to against them. So we always encourage people that please do not send your nudes. We understand and appreciate that when it comes to sexual acts and you are a matured person and the law allows you to engage in sexual acts, we can understand and appreciate that in those moments it's like one loses the senses. But we always urge you that no matter how tempting it is, do not send your pictures, because even if it's the person who gets the picture, he's not going to publish it. His phone could be hacked. Or he could lose his phone.
Take his phone to the repair.
Exactly, exactly. Because there have been instances where it's the repairers who will normally share such pictures. Exactly. So it is against the law to do that, and so we strongly encourage people not to send their nudes in happy times and allow, do the normal conversation. If you want to do video calls, to put on a clothing and then talk about it. After all, if you have been having sex with a person or intend to have sex with
your body.
Exactly. And if you intend to have sex with the person will get to know your body. So there is no need for you to take those pictures, no matter how tempting those instances are.
Yeah. So you mentioned those instances.
Yes.
But it's domestic. So is it when it's done at home? Okay, that is classified, or in the office or outside, because it's domestic? It's domestic,
yes. So the law has defined what a domestic relationship is. So a domestic relationship, you need not be in the same home. So apart from being in the same house, husband, wife, mother, father, you are in the same environment, it also applies to people who live in different environments and even different regions, but you still be in a domestic relationship. So for instance, one of the relationship is you and your blood, like your father, mother, grandmother, and all that. And then the other one is you and your in-laws. Okay. So we have a domestic relationship by blood and by law. So the by law is an adoption, fostering, in-laws and all that. And then your exes. So if you have an ex, and basically your ex is living in Tamale, you are living in Accra, if there happens to be a misunderstanding where an offense has been committed within the Domestic Violence Act, you also fall under the Domestic Violence Act. So you need not be in the same environment. Okay. You need not to have lived together ever. You could, once you are dating, or you ever dated, or you are
work
in
environment.
So work environment, it's a bit technical, because it's one of the gray areas that we have noticed. But the good thing is that because we are police, crime is crime.
Right.
So, for instance, if you have been indecently assaulted at the office space and you come to DOFSU, we are not going to drive you away and say, oh,
it's not happening in the home.
Exactly. So. We would still take the matter, because the Domestic Violence Act incorporates the Act 29 into the DV Act. And so we can hold that person under the other offense, which is indecent assault. Yes, it could be indecent assault because we are police. So we can hold that person under Criminal Offences Act. What the other side, and mind you, the Act also allows the courts to determine that a particular relationship is domestic. Okay. So the court also has that leeway to say, looking at the fact, the time, and they have time, there are conditions, certain things they have to take into consideration. So the number of times that they spend time together, how long they spend time together, and how they spend those times. So there are conditions that will guide a judge to arrive at a particular relationship being classified as domestic. But for us, the good thing is that because we are police, when you come, we can always
look at it from those angles.
Unless it's so outside. So for instance, if you come and we notice that it's human trafficking, you know, it has a human trafficking connotation, because it's a anti-human trafficking unit, we will then refer the case to anti-human trafficking.
Right.
Yes.
Hello, Chief. So, you know, now people take nude pictures and then they sell it. You take the nude picture and then you send it to somebody, the person sends you money. What will let a woman or a young lady take a nude picture and send it for money? I mean, or sell it? What are the psychological basis for such thing or such an act?
Okay, so the first one that comes to mind is self-esteem. Okay, the thoughts of the person about their self, the belief they have about their self. It's very important. When they feel, okay, I need this and I feel I can use my body to get it. They are not placing value on their body or their dignity, but more value on what they need. Okay. Another one too can be economic reasons. Majority of the children, especially, who are allowing themselves to go through this is because maybe there's not enough food at home, there's not enough money, everybody else is using the phone, they don't have, their friends are bullying them at school because they don't look rich enough. Okay, so because you want the money, then you do these things, you send nude pictures to men, you allow men to sleep with you, so you can have the money. In the beginning, it may look like abuse. The teenager doesn't know, but eventually, some of the teenagers get comfortable with the whole sexual act, and they allow themselves to go to it because they are getting the money for that. And sometimes too, it's purely lack of knowledge. The person doesn't know. In their environment, it's normal, it's happening, everybody is doing it. So why don't I just go along with it? Okay, and then in some Ghanaian communities, they say, yeah, now, okay, or in Ghana, they say something in that line that makes young people feel like, or ladies feel like,
they are lagging behind.
Yes, to be able to get the man. And then the other one is the emotional reasons. Maybe she's honestly in love with the man, but how to go about the dynamics of that relationship is where the problem is. They need to know, okay, at this point, I have to act this way with this man. At this point, I need to act this way. But once a girl feels, okay, I love him, I'm sexually attracted to him, then they just go ahead and do it. So sometimes the concept of love and how strong that emotion can drive human beings that cause us.
Love one thing.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Yeah, and it's also peer pressure. Sometimes
peer pressure is also part. What's legal backing? So you were saying that it is against the law to show nude pictures. And so if, with all the reasons that Chief has mentioned, if, let's say, it's on the man's or the woman the other way, any other way, is on their gadget, and then mistakenly it leaks out.
Well,
can the other person, so let's cite an example like a woman, sends it to somebody for all these reasons that Chief has mentioned, and then you notice that it's gone out, but it's of no fault of the other party. Can the woman take legal action?
Somebody definitely will have to put it out. I mean, your phone just don't send messages. You know, so if it's a repairer who found your phone or is repairing your phone and found those things and shared it, there was a sharing point, there was a starting point, and so that's where we start from. We discourage people from sending the pictures. Once you send it, you've published it. It's a publication of, you know, obscene material, and you can be held liable. And also under the law, you are not even supposed to have a child pornography on your system at all. So the fact that child porno is even on your phone is an offense. There is nothing like, oh, somebody sent it to me, somebody sent that. The law is very blunt on that. You're not supposed to have child pornography on your phone, because it's now become people's desire to be forming kids, and kids are kids. In fact, under the law, 16-year-old child, girl, female, precisely, can consent to sex. This does not mean that children who are 16 years old must have engaged in sex. No, we always discourage them.
They can consent to sex.
Yes, if you are 16-year-old female, the law says you can consent to sex. 18 years, you can marry with consent of your parents. For 21 years, you can marry when you are 21 years old. On your own, exactly. But we always discourage people from getting married, from engaging in sex. So if you're a child and you're 16 years old, you are still young, you are still a child, you need to concentrate on your schools, go to school, develop a trade for yourself, start work, be independent, so that you can make decisions.
I'm a lawyer. We'll get to that point. Don't worry.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I know how passionate you are with your work.
Thank you.
But we'll go on a commercial break. After the commercial break, we'll get somebody, a lady who has gone through domestic violence and would like to share how she sought for help and, I mean, what she went through. She would like to share her story with us. So don't go anywhere. Before I go, this is Lozati lozenges. If you have any problem with your throat, don't pass Lozati. It's available in all pharmacies and shops nationwide. Thank you. This is AccuCheck. You know, we are doing mental health. And the mental health, our brain has effects. It has some cordiality with the heartbeat. And then it also has a cordiality with your sugar level. So you should check your sugar at least once a week if you are diabetic, or once a month if you are an adult. And if you are checking your sugar, this glucometer is all that you need. AccuCheck. It could be fun if you want to buy in bulk for wholesale. Contact Unicom Chemist. If you want to get it at the shop, it's available in all pharmaceuticals and other shops. So we'll go on a quick commercial break, and afterwards we'll invite our dear sister who will share her experience. And then the two professionals will give us their insight. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. We are in Consulting Room 5, and today we are discussing domestic violence and its impact on mental health. If you missed the first session, we discussed what domestic violence is about, people, the classes, the classification, and then our professionals, ACP lawyer Osua Chirme, a very beautiful, dark, beauty lady. Mommy police, and then another mommy police who is also a clinical psychologist at the Ghana Police Hospital, Chief Inspector Owusua Bidiakutu Owusues. So I'm back to you,
yes.
Counsel. Is it only women who go through domestic violence?
No. In fact, men and boys do go through domestic violence in different forms. Okay. So for men, it's normally the verbal abuse, and it's also they also suffer psychological abuse and emotional abuse. Rarely do you have a man reporting economic abuse. Okay. And then the boys, even though under Ghana law, a man cannot be raped, but a boy can be defiled. Right. So if you're a boy and you are below 16 years, then you can be defiled. And then you need to report to the police. So the boys are covered when it comes to sexual assault, when it comes to defilement.
Oh, so below 16?
Yes.
So like the males who are 18 or 17 or 16 and above, no. If the other people use power to manipulate them, is it not a defilement?
No. So defilement is only for children, a child. Okay. So the reason why the boys are also covered is that the definition says a child, when you have natural carnal knowledge with a child below the age of 16 years. Right. So if the child is 15 years and you have a carnal knowledge, natural carnal knowledge of that person. But when we come on air, we are talking with the general public, we don't want to use the technical words. Okay. We want to say sex, have sex in the anus, or, for boys, it's definitely will be anus and all that. Then mouth. They are mouth, yes, they are covered. Right. So the mouth and the mouth could amount to indecent assault. Okay. Okay, so the penetration itself is like the anus, the anal, then the boys are protected. Okay. You can report. So if you are aware of any boy that an adult is having that sexual act with, you report to the police, and then we will take the matter up. And sodomy, we will take the matter up. But when it comes to rape, as defined by law, it's only for female. It's only a female 16 years and above who can be raped.
Thank you for the information given. Before we went on the break, I said we will get a beautiful lady who would like to share her experience, who has been abused, gone through several abuse, and she wants to share her experience and how she sought help, what she did. So we have our lady who is with us, but because of privacy and confidentiality, we wouldn't like to show her face because her matter is sensitive and we wouldn't like to take it out there. But she wants us all to know, so we learn and we know that there is help. So my lady, you are welcome.
Thank you, madam.
Talk a bit louder.
Thank you.
Okay. You opted to give us a little bit just of what you were going through and how you were able to seek help. Yeah. So can you tell us a little about it? I mean, don't mention names, as we've all consented to, and just tell us the story and how you went through it and then what you did.
Okay. All right. So, how do I say? So there is this gentleman I was in a relationship with.
Dating?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We dated for 2 years.
Okay.
And then, due to some of his actions, I wasn't so comfortable. So I decided to end the relationship.
Would you like to mention a few of the actions?
Or verbal assault, and then sometimes it's extend to physical. Yes, so I decided to just call it off. And then after 3 months later, I find out that I'm pregnant.
Okay.
So I have to at least inform him that I've taken it. So I told him, and he was like, okay, so it's been 3 months. So why would you go and then come back and tell me that
you are pregnant?
So definitely he's not taking responsibility of that. So I just told him, well, you are the father, so I just wanted you to know.
Okay.
It's not like, if you don't want to take responsibility, I don't have a problem with that. So that was it. So later on, he came to apologize with the family and then promised not to, or let's say put a stop to whatever he was doing.
Okay.
So I realized he was still doing the same acts. He was still abusive.
Okay.
He drinks and misbehave and all that. So I told him, now, no, I can't continue with this. So I left again, had my baby. And then ever since, as early as 1 week old baby, he started coming to my house, threatening me. He comes in the midnight and all that. He can just break through the window, throw stones in my rooms and all that. Yeah,
when
it
the
was
baby...
yes, as early as 1 week. So we have to move to my sister's place for some time. I actually reported to the police. Sometimes I call the emergency line, but before they will come, he's already
He had
gone.
left.
Yes. So I reported. It was going on and on. I report, they invite him over. He will promise not to do that. And later, what he will do is even worse than what he was doing before. It kept on and on for like 4 years. I've been going to the police up and down for 4 good years.
So, but during the 4 years period, were you intimate somehow?
No.
Okay.
No. I decided not to.
Okay.
So it was just wherever I moved to, he find a way to come over, and then he would just destroy the door or something like that. So it was so much. I was just dealing with that for 4 years. If we relocate and he finds out, I'll just have to relocate again. And then finally, I met a lawyer and he took the case on to court.
Okay.
So that was Dovsu One Stop Center. So they decided to know it's dangerous, so they have to keep us safe in their shelter. So I move in with my daughter.
Okay, let's pause there.
Yeah.
Chief Owusua, so with her issue, for me as a public health person, I think the man also might have some mental health issue. What do you think?
No.
Okay. Very little research is done into what the perpetrators actually experience. Okay. But for anybody to be violent, we know that there's some level of anger. Mostly when the victims talk about the perpetrator and you dig deep, you realize that the perpetrator has some level of fear of loss of control. Okay. So very little research is done in this way, but during clinical practice, you always notice that the perpetrators have certain patterns. Psychologically, maybe they don't believe in themselves. They probably have fear of losing control.
So that's the mental health aspect.
Yes. So perpetrators have some level of distress or psychological issues, but sometimes it's just their persona or their personality. They have some antisocial personality disorder. Okay, and that one has to be diagnosed to be able to conclude. And perpetrators will usually not come out and say, okay, I've done this to this person, I've done that, because of the shame and the fear of being arrested.
Right.
Okay, so I can't speak too much into what the perpetrators think or feel. But usually from the victims, as psychologists, you can know that the perpetrators are sometimes afraid. They're afraid of losing control. They don't believe in themselves as a person, that without putting in fear or without putting in anger, I can still get what I want. And sometimes, the way the perpetrator grew up, for most Ghanaian perpetrators, you realize that the environment in which they grew up, the victims will tell you when he was young, his father would beat him, his father would slap him, his mother would shout at him, he wasn't given food, so he believes that he should do the same thing to me because his father used to do it to his
Don't
mother.
do that. So what
Okay.
psychological help or not help now for now, our lady, what kind of psychological trauma or psychological problem do you think she could be having going through such things?
Okay, so first we have anxiety is usually common. She'll go through some level of depression and some level of stress. Sometimes she can go through what we call post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, where simple things can remind her. She can see these things in her dreams, flashbacks. Okay, so these three are usually common. And then social anxiety, sometimes even fear of men can also come in. At a point, she feels like, wait, what if all men are the same? What if all men behave the same way? So there are some form of cognitive distortions that come up when you go through trauma and abuse, and it's very important that that is dealt with a professional.
So, madam, did you seek help?
Yes.
How did you go about it?
Okay, so like I was saying, the abuse was becoming too much.
Too much.
He went to the extent to burn my shop. I had a beauty parlor. I had a strong feeling that he was the one who did it.
Oh,
Because
you didn't know who did?
No,
Okay.
because it was done around 1 a.m. At that time, I was at work, so I was on a night shift.
Okay.
Yes, he
So you
come
were
as
in
far.
the shop?
Yes, no. It was closed. 1 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was at work.
Okay.
I was working and I
It's
had
your,
the shop
it's
at
your
the time.
kind of your side job.
Yes,
okay.
please. Yes. So I had a call that my shop is on fire, and then I wasn't around. I'm at work, so I can't just come. Yes. And then within some few minutes time, my landlord too called me that someone came to put fire at my door.
Hey.
Yes. So that was when I realized that no, this would be him.
Yeah.
So I had to report to the police, and I came to the headquarters, the one-stop center, and then they took it from there. So they took the matter to court, assisted me, and then...
So you went to the Dofsu
Yes,
division
please.
of
Yes,
the police
yes,
service.
yes.
Mami Dofsu.
Yes. Yes. In fact,
A lot of people are going through
Yes.
what, and even more.
Yes.
Some also less.
yes.
At what time do we rush to you people?
At any time that it starts, because the law says it could be a single act or series of acts.
Okay.
So let's say everything has been okay, and then just one day he starts.
Okay.
Even throw your things out. It's the first time he's doing it. You must reach out for help, because once they start, they don't stop. And so, like she said, it went on repeatedly for 4 years. Yes, I mean, she
Wow.
could have died. We are lucky
Yes.
to have her alive. She
Alive.
could have died. In fact, I think there was one instance where the person came to your house. Somebody saw him enter the compound with a gallon in one hand and a match, something
Much.
in another.
Yay.
And that day she was in the house.
Yes.
Exactly. So if the neighbor had not, so for us, we always say that once it starts, reach out. If you reach out, insist that you want the issue be investigated for us to reach out to the people. Sometimes the flip side is that people come and say, oh, I just want the person to talk. I just want you to talk to the person. And you see, police, once we bring you in, we can't say we are talking to the person. And then it's on us. Because there is nowhere that the law says talk to the person.
So I think with that, they should seek psychological help.
First, if you know of a lawyer friend, you can speak to the lawyer.
Okay.
You want to go to legal aid, you can do that. You have a psychologist, a medical doctor friend, you can reach out to the person. You can also walk to DOFSU. Fortunately, we have a DOFSU to a free line, and also we have
Can
DOFSU
you put
WhatsApp.
It there
yes, our DOFSU WhatsApp number is 0551 0000900.
055 team, please put it on the screen.
0000900. Please let there be hyphen between 055-1000-900. And then we also have the toll free. That one, when you call, there is no you don't pay for it. We get to pay for you calling us. So that's toll free. So if you don't have credit, you can call. It's 0800 0000900. 0800 0000900. We are also on the social media space. We are on TikTok. We are on Instagram. I will try and remember that one. I'm not a social media person, but I'm trying. We're on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook as well. So you can reach out to us, send us a message, and then we will respond. We encourage everybody. In fact, if you're not sure of the situation, call. Ask us, find out. If you're not in Accra, call us. We receive calls from across the country.
These numbers are for Accra centers?
For national. It's nationwide. So there are times that I personally respond to the WhatsApp messages, yes.
Council, let's be done with our lady then.
Yes.
I can let you tell us more about DOFSU.
Yes.
Okay. So when you went to court, what happened?
Okay, so like I said, the one-stop center, because he come as far to my workplace to attack me. So they were always escorting me to work, and then when I close, they bring me back to the shelter.
Okay.
Yes, and then we proceeded to court, and then they took over. Okay. So they were actually able to arrest him, and then we started the court case.
So are you done now with the
Yes,
course?
we are done. It took like almost 3 years.
So you are okay now?
Yes.
You're okay?
Yes, I'm okay now.
We thank God for your life.
For now, I have my peace of mind.
Right, we thank God for your life. So, Chief Inspector Osua, can you tell us your final words? If people are going through domestic violence, what they should do, where they should seek for help in about 2 minutes, please.
Yes, it's very important that you recognize there's a problem. When you don't recognize you have a problem, then nobody can help. Okay, there's a lot of education going on. The moment you realize that there's too much control over your life, there's too much abuse of power over your life, the moment you realize that you are being put down, okay, and your mood is being affected because of what another person is doing to you, it's very important you speak to somebody. It's very important you can speak to your friends, your family members, because they are very close. They can give you some perspective.
So maybe trusted people.
Yes, trusted people. And then when you realize that the trusted people are beating down what you are saying, you should go a step further to an institution. Okay, you can just walk to a hospital, tell them, yeah, we want to see the doctor. You go, you tell the doctor, this and this is what I'm going through. At the Ghana Police Hospital, for example, the doctor will quickly refer you to the psychologist. The psychologist works hand in hand with the social worker. And then the social worker takes you to DOFSU, and then the process starts from there. When it comes to the arrest and all that. But psychologically, will also be helping you, empowering you, making you understand what the whole situation looks like so that you can be able to stand through the time. It's very important you know there's a problem, and then you seek help from the right institutions. When the people close to you are not doing anything. I like the fact that she kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and she went through it. Some people give up because they feel the system is not helping. But one day somebody would help you.
There will be help someday. Thank you very much, Chief Inspector. And your final words, lawyer?
So for us, we would say that immediately it starts, seek help. Reach out to the DOFSU One Stop Center, call our toll-free number, call our WhatsApp, send message to our WhatsApp number. If your life is in danger and you don't want to speak for the abuser to know, just WhatsApp us, give us your location. We'll always trace. We have rescued a lot of people through this WhatsApp messages. Reach out to us. We have a package for you at our one-stop center. If you're able to reach out, we provide everything there. So at the one-stop center, yes, we have a shelter, we have a clinic, we have a laboratory, we have courts, we have social welfare officer.
And all the regions or just for Greater Accra?
For Greater Accra. So this year we want to do a fundraising dinner, fundraising dinner to raise funds to set up another one in Ashanti region. Going forward, the vision is to have it across all the regional capitals, and then we decentralize it to the divisional level so that help and access to justice will be easier and closer to people. So going for this is what we want to do. For now, we have the one-stop center, the Dofsu one-stop center at the police headquarters, where we have the clinic, the laboratory, the clinical psychologist, social welfare. We have 2 courts. We have a space where we interview the children, a different space where we interview the adults, and your privacy is assured. So we encourage all to reach out to us as early as practical, so that we can start the process with you. We also have our podcast now. It's also as part of our awareness creation. We also want to use that platform to also educate people. And so there are times that we will start going live to engage the public. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief Inspector Owusu Bediako of Ghana Police Hospital. There's clinical psychologist there, one of the clinical psychologists there, and then Director for Dofsu, lawyer ACP. Oh, correct.
I think
ACP Owusu Treme, and my lady who has come to share her experience with us. There is help. There is always help. Dofsu, there is help there. Psychologists will also give help. So don't just stay at home. Go and seek for it. Go seek for help, professional help. Don't just sit down and be dying anymore. Don't be dying silently. We want you alive. And with Konsulting Room 5, we give you all the best information that will help your mental health and help your well-being. We thank you for watching us. We'll be back same time next week. Bye.